Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Coming to you almost live from the Bone-Tied Nexus in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, it's the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 146. It is April 23rd, and I'm your host, Bill. Hey, Bone Daddies are cool. Costello, and with me today,
all the way from the Charnel Stirrups in the Necropolis Clinic, it's Joshua. Oh, crap, it's OBR, not OBGYN.
Oh, my God.
Alt.
You know, you hit me with that last week, and I'm like, what the hell is he saying? I completely forgot. Wow.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Because, folks, today we are talking about, well, we will be talking about OC Bone Reapers, but you're getting a twofer today.
Yes.
Because they double deathed us with OBR and Soul Blight. And a little bit of preview there. They're kind of short in Path to Glory. So we get to cover both of them today.
That's right. It's kind of a really weird double Path to Glory kind of, that's not very... So generally speaking, if you follow the formula that we have been telling you, if the Path to Glory is short, the book must be good.
Yeah, pretty good.
So spicy.
Yep.
Yeah. So on a side note, happy day after Earth Day.
That's the day after Earth?
Yes. It's the
day after Earth Day.
Day
Okay,
after
gotcha.
Earth Day.
Yeah, I was like, where are we now?
Yeah. Oh, everything out there is just dust. Man.
Yeah. Literally, we live in the desert. So.
Yes. Also, in the intro, I want to mention that set your calendars, whatever you want to do, May 15th, 2023 will mark the return of the Independent Characters podcast. So it's a 40K, don't expect anything else podcast. It's Carl Tuttle, probably one of the best produced podcasts that was ever out there. I think it's going to be, episode 215. They've been kind of on hiatus for 2 years, and every now and again, Carl does that. He gets out of it because it's hard to keep a schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Like this. He'll bail out of it for a little bit and then come back, which is cool because, like I said, great stuff. I'm really looking forward to it myself. I love that show. He's always got great guests and really insightful thoughts about 40K. I do want to send a big shout out to the folks that are doing White Dwarf nowadays. And
yeah, I
think that editor, what the heck is his name? Let me open the cover here. And yeah, Lyle Lowry, the new editor, they are really, this last year's worth of White Dwarf, I got to say, are some of the best in history of White Dwarf. They're just so good. They're so packed with content for every game and not, each issue, but they're really trying hard to encompass everything in their range. At least with something. Obviously, 40K and AOS are going to dominate. Yep. But what they're giving is really, really good. And I don't know, tip of the hat to those guys for all the effort, all the work.
No, I mean, the best part, my favorite part recently is how they use the White Dwarf to buttress the Arcs of Omen release, particularly for boarding actions and enhancing boarding actions and making them more narrative and fun, making them more interesting. So they've really taken what could have just been a stark, almost kill team arena situation.
Sure. Yeah.
And turned it into something so much more. And so if you're really into boarding actions like I am, this has been a great series for the last, 3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, it's a great avenue for them to explore different ways to play. And I love it. Keep it up, guys. All right. So I think that's about that. Let's switch over to New Dawn. What came out this week is obviously, if you're a big Dark Angels person, the Lion's Guard came out. Yay.
Even if you're a small Dark Angels person,
sure.
Any size Dark Angels person.
Yes.
The Lion came out and that was a grab. So many things launched all at once that day that it just hamstrung the website. But anyway.
Hamstrung. It's freaking mismanagement on a level that you will hear about in After Dark.
Yes. I know Bill has things to say.
Yes. You can't manage to keep a retail website up when you know there's going to be orders coming. Okay. Anyway. So yeah. On to the good things. So the new Commander Dante came out, and I got to say, just looking at that article with all the different paint jobs on Dante.
Yep.
wow, some people out there are just flipping nuts. I wonder if any of them have heard of Retributor Gold Spray, because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm like, you people.
Non-metallic metals, Bill. That's how you have to paint everything now.
You know what? I'm sorry. I don't like NMM for a lot of reasons, except when I see, someone craft it expertly to where it doesn't look like crap from another angle.
Yeah.
Okay. That I can get behind. I'm not going to do it. No. But most of the non-metallic metal stuff I see looks really sharp from one angle. And then when you go around the other side of the model, it's like, oh, look, it's brown and yellow and it looks like crap. Okay. No thanks. Not for me.
Yeah, and then Vashtor, Azrael, just a bunch of character dumps that came out this last week. So hopefully y'all got what you wanted. And if not, well, they've said very, very publicly that the Lion's going to be released here in just a couple weeks.
Yeah, without his retinue, but obviously the retinue is just sauce.
Yeah. It's a boarding patrol box.
Yeah, it's true. Oh my God.
425 points of boarding patrol.
Mm-hmm. You too can be the Lion. Okay. So that's enough of what came out. Coming up for pre-order yesterday. Huge day. Two things.
There's Adeptus Titanicus. Yeah, huge for AT, right?
Big time. The campaign compendium, which if you've been following along with all the Adeptus Titanicus stuff, don't buy that book because you already have it. It's just gathering up all of the campaign operations into one book, which is going to be a great resource. Don't get me wrong. Having everything all in one place is going to be a lot of fun. But if you've been keeping up with all the purchases, you don't need it.
But hey, if you haven't,
bingo, here is primo opportunity to get stuff that's out of print.
Right, and I think they're releasing there's also a box of a bunch of resin models we need to talk about so we can move on.
Yeah, and there's also going to be, it makes allusion in the text for this item when you order it, in the box it says you will need this book if you want to use the cards for blah 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 blah, which have not come out yet. So obviously we'll probably be seeing in a week or two some Adeptus Titanicus card sets. And then of course the highlighter for us, for all the AOS wonderful people out there, the Seraphon Army box. Yeah, baby.
It's finally here.
Yes. And at that point, all other things stop. So as I just go gaga over Seraphon.
Did you already pull out your pyramid? Get it ready for it?
Actually, no, the pyramid is still packed away because I took it to a LVO.
Oh, okay.
I have another one to build, which I have another idea for. And yes, mm-hmm. It's already done and painted. I just have to get it out of there and paint up some more. I can't wait to get those warriors. They look so good.
It looks so good.
God.
It's so good. And the frog looks extra ugly.
Oh,
so,
yeah. So cannot wait. Next show you hear will be Seraphon.
Path to glory.
Seraphon. Just be ready for dinosaurs. So we are still awaiting the news at 11 to see what's going up for order next week. I also just wanted to quickly cover, if you are Warhammer Plus and you've been watching the animated stuff, the Knave Black Talon show came out. A lot different than what I expected, but I think really kind of cool. Have you watched any of it?
Not yet.
Okay. So episode 1 was, as you might have expected, Knave Black Talon against some Nurgle stuff.
Okay.
And basically it's being used to introduce you to the reforging process, which really messes her up when she gets reforged because she forgets a key piece of information. And it's really kind of how they get back to, it's really kind of cool. And then episode 2, I think is the true beginning of this arc that they're going to do, because it really heavily introduces another character called Hendrix, who is kind of more like, he's older and seems like a mentor to her. And there's also what looks like a Lumineth mercenary that's with her little gang. And they literally are hunters. They're just a small group that goes in to handle something, not fighting in a big war. They just go out and do some stuff. And the second one introduces, you find out that Hendrix has a way to talk to Sigmar he gets instructions from Sigmar, and that's how they pick and choose their targets. But it's taxing for him. You meet a death character, and I will leave it at that, because when Hendrix leaves that character, yep, he pretty much thinks that this thing's over. We're done. And no, you're not. So they're 2 pretty cool episodes. They're about 23, 25 minutes. I think the art style is very Saturday morning cartoonish. But it captures, I think, the feel really, really well.
Yeah. And
it's kind of capturing that whole Stormcast. I'd like to remember who I was, but I can't because duty comes first. So the slavery aspect of Stormcast is really brought to the fore. So they're good. Highly recommend you watch those. They're pretty good.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
So shall we move on to creation?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Mine's really short.
Go for it.
In MCP, I got Psylocke, Emma Frost, Spider-Woman, and Agent Venom built and painted. I got Hulk, Immortal Hulk, and MODOK, Scientist Supreme on deck to get built today. It's just there's so much that I have to get caught up painting for MCP. It's ridiculous.
For me, Patton Oswalt is my headcanon for the voice for MODOK after that show.
Yep. Ain't it though? Oh my God. I was watching him on, I think, Celebrity Jeopardy, and I was like, do MODOK. Yeah, do MODOK. But he didn't. So, oh well. I also started trying to realize what I had in my head for a Tree Lord, or for Sylvaneth, and started working on a Tree Lord Ancient. So I just basically got a base coated and just kind of blocked in the colors where I kind of have an idea of where I want things to be. Now I got to work on, blending it a little bit better and starting to get some highlights laid down. So we'll see how that turns out, because I really I want to do a Sylvaneth army at some point. I know Seraphon's going to come in and just trounce everything, but
yes.
Ho-hum, no biggie. That's all I did. What do you got?
So I really been working on the Retribution Crusade stuff. So I finished my card yesterday.
Nice.
So I won't say what number I am because that's being kept close to the chest, but I did earn one of the medals.
Nice.
And that's going to have one of the signature Dan Abnett pieces that I'm going to get. That's going to have something he wrote, which is awesome. So thankful to get that done. I had to look at our last show notes and be like, okay, what did I say last time so I don't overlap? So I got a Relic Contemptor, Dark Angels Dreadnought, fully built, fully painted, up to parade ready. I think I posted that on my Instagram already. Relic Contemptor for Iron Hands, because I shifted to Iron Hands after Dark Angels just took a swift one to the sweets. So I was like,
chasing the meta.
Yeah. It's like, all right. I wasn't going to try and play the 50 Terminator. I'm a boring person and sit on objectives list. I just wanted tough Terminators, right? And they're already really tough, but I wanted the toughest. So when I pivot to Relic Contemptor, Iron Hands, Dreadnought, I did not get it primed, unfortunately.
Oh.
I just got it finished. I finished building it this morning because I frankly fell asleep before I finished it. I got Iron Hands Eradicators painted, Veteran Intercessors painted, and Assault Centurions all painted.
Nice.
I previously had the Centurion Devastators already painted up. I had Iron Father Pharaohs. I had some Aggressors. I've got 2 Redemptors ready to be built, so I'm working on those. I also have a Repulsor that I need. It's already primed. Nice. I just need to get that done. But I took a super simple paint scheme because I was like, Iron Hands aren't special.
No.
They're just black with a little silvery bit here and there.
Yeah.
So I just taken a really quick speed painting method. I'll take some things up really far.
Sure.
But not much. Yeah, it's been speed painting and speed building and stuff mostly this week. Just trying to get on the board for the Crusade campaign we have going on for 40K right now. And I've had a few games in that one. So.
Yay. Well, let's just go ahead and pivot right into games played. You got a whole list here.
I do. I had to play 5 games for the Retribution card.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Right. So I did Dark Angels versus Grey Knights. That was a 5 victory point split at the end of it. I had this one heroic moment where if I had wounded one more time, I may have won the game.
Oh.
But it was fun. We were playing at, I think I only had 38 PL, right? 38 power, which, I should have had more for the Crusade because it's 50 power max. But, it was like I had 38 and he had like 42 or something. God, this spell doms that are Grey Knights at those lower PLs are tough to deal with.
Yes, they are.
You're just throwing nonstop psychic at me.
Yep.
And I didn't really have the tools for it. I will now because I have Iron Hands. But so I did boarding action, Dark Angels versus Salamanders. That one I ended up losing by 10 victory points. I just had like some of the worst save rolls I've ever had. I was like, I'm positioned correctly. Yeah, no, I'm definitely positioned correct. Oh, man. Oh. Okay. Yeah, well,
I melted.
Literally, it was the Melta Eradicators, which, you can take. Oh, God.
Yes.
Well, the worst part is that I lost the permanent transhuman, and it's just the rest of it doesn't matter, because I was doing the Deathwing stuff, because I was like, this will be fun for boarding actions, have some more fights, They didn't drop the points. Points didn't go down.
Yeah.
Right? So I have these, Terminators, which Terminators with Thunderhammers and Storm Shields are still what they are.
Still very good.
But just having no ability to access, the 4-up, or wounding only on 4-up, oh, God, it was rough.
Yeah.
But that would have saved my butt if I still had that ability when I played, because it was literally 2 days after that is when I played that game. It was like, feels bad. Feels bad. Did another boarding action of Dark Angels versus Eldari. That one I took. Just positioned their units too close to the hatchway when I walked up and opened it. And I got, 5 Darkwing Ducks.
Darkwing Ducks.
Deathwing Knights in there, and I obliterated Banshees and Striking Scorpions.
Oh,
just
good.
Both units just gone. And that Flail the Unforgiven is what really did nasty work, since it carries wounds over.
Oh, yeah.
Then I did a little bit of a revenge fight. It was Iron Hands versus Salamanders, but on the board, my opponent got turn 1 and tried to focus fire down my Assault Centurion squad. They only dropped 2 of them.
Oh, boy.
With literally everything going into it. That was, 6 Flamestorm Aggressors. That was 3 Eradicators. And that was a Land Raider Crusader. Everything into that unit.
Damn.
The thing that saved me, I don't know. It was like, again, the complete opposite of the boarding action I did. Sort of the dice gods saying, you should probably play Iron Hands. So they have that one CP stratagem that gives them the 5-up Feel No Pain. Oh my goodness. Like there's one time when he blasted through with a multi-melta. I saved one of them. He rolls for it and he's like, all right, that's 6 damage. I'm like, okay, well, here's the Feel No Pain. Well, I soaked 5.
Oh, God dang. Ouch. That hurt.
And the Relic Contemptor with the Volkites is just so nasty. So that was a fun little revenge mission. I did Iron Hands versus Black Templars on a boarding action. That was also a loss. I'm going to talk a little bit about, the lack of balance and some of that stuff in White Dwarf. That mission is rough if you're not the defender. No, it was a good game. I mean, we still smashed a lot of models. So by the end of it, I think we both lost like 2 to 3 units by the end of it, because it was a slugfest.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I played a bunch of games all for this Retribution Crusade. So
nice. Way to finish the card. Woohoo.
Yeah, that was something else. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I'll talk more about the Retribution Crusade in After Dark, and some of the progression that I'm hearing between the different stores. How funny it is when you compare our store versus literally everyone else.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I did. Bill, what'd you do?
Got one game in, flipped the script, Daughters of Cain, Stormcast. I know I talked last show about just actually being brutalized so heavily by the dice. At least this one was no dice, no craziness. I mean, obviously there were lots of dice, but no craziness on either side. Oh, super fun game. It literally came down to turn 5, swinging 2 objectives into my favor. I was playing the girls and just, oh man, some of the stuff they can do is so brutal. I can see why people just absolutely, you start playing that army and you never go anywhere else.
Yeah. Because
there's just so much fine tuning and learning that you have to do to use them to the best of their ability. I think the first time you pick up Daughters of Cain and you start playing them, you're going to be so disappointed with how they just melt in the stiff breeze.
Yep.
And yet then when you start actually figuring out how they work and how they should go into combats, especially with something like Stormcast.
Yeah.
They reward really accurate play. And I'm not known for that, but I'm getting better at it. Not really. It was a tight game going all the way down to the end of turn 5. So
Oh, wow.
fun game. And again, no battle pack, no Galician freaking gynecologist or anything. I just, I hate all that crap. It's just so convoluted and doesn't add that much to the game. But you have this solid brick of rules that are like, oh, well, if you have this and it's Tuesday and the moon is out, you are actually considered a veteran. Oh, okay, whatever. So, yeah, I don't like the battle packs. Sorry. That's just me being a jerk. All right. So, yeah, that was a super fun game. From deployment onwards, it was just a slugfest.
Love it.
Just going through units and trashing, and then he would trash me. He got off an aggressor coming in, and I didn't screen myself well enough from this. I should have. If I had just elongated my line a little bit, I would have prevented him from doing this, but he popped in right behind me with 3 of those aggressor paladin guys.
Yep.
That are so freaking brutal. They do mortal wounds when they drop. Then they can, with the right leader, they can drop 7 inches away and not 9. And so they can pretty much get off a charge. And he did. And I went, ow, that was stupid. And then proceeded to, in the combat phase, obliterated the 3 of them. And I was like, oh my God, thank God. Because the thought of having to double back and handle that with the snake ladies was just, I did not want to do that.
Nope.
It would have lost me the game.
Yep.
But luckily some witches were there and they were like, hey, those guys hurt us. We're going to do the same. And they did. So shall we move into lore?
I think it's time. All
right, let's take a quick break and then we'll jump into lore.
Make sure you join us tonight for the news at 11.
So, as the nice lady just said, it's time for the news at 11, which means what's up for pre-order?
First thing we got here, the long-awaited, long sought after, and much bemoaned due to the delay, Combat Patrol World Eaters. Ridiculously good box. You got the Lord Invocatus or Chaos Lord on Jug. You're going to have 20 Berserkers.
Good God.
And 10 Jackals.
Jesus.
It is a amazing purchase.
Box.
2 of these and you're pretty much set for just the core of your army. Then it's just about 8-bound, Angron, all that good stuff, right? So this is just, it's amazing. I did not buy Berserkers or Lord Invocatus.
Right.
I did get a box of Jackals because I want to convert them for Necromunda.
Yeah.
But specifically because of this Combat Patrol, knowing it was going to be coming out soon. So that's on the 40K front. Then Warhammer Underworlds, it is the Hollow release.
Finally, Weird Hollow comes out. I've actually been waiting for this since they dropped the announcement.
Yeah.
And I thought, did they forget that they were going to do that? I guess not.
Yeah.
So first expansion for the latest season of Warhammer Underworlds is here. You're going to get, let me see, what are you going to get? 3 Knights Arcanum of Domaton Storm Coven. And
Ephelem the Unknowable, apprenticed to one of Tzeentch's infamous Gaunt summoners with his own demonic followers. And I gotta say, I just want it for the demons alone. Like, they look so cool.
Those demons are so much better than anything they've come out with. I love the guy with just the 5 arms.
Yeah.
He's just a body with 5 arms. Not even a body. It's a hub with 5 arms. That's
like a
awesome.
Starfish almost, right? With a little fire in his hands.
Yep.
Yeah, they just look so bizarre and Tzeentchian.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, I think I want that for Pink Horrors now.
Yeah.
And for those who do pay attention, who are looking at the preview, I'm going to say, do not stare at the rule book for too long because, well, if you stare into the abyss will stare back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. I think they should have edited that a little bit more.
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah, so anyway, very Tzeentchian, right?
Very.
So,
for Middle Earth strategy battle game, you have the Amonhen Fallen Head statue. So it's literally just a big old chunk of fallen head, which is awesome. It's such a great looking, that piece looks so good. Oh, I definitely want that.
I can dig it. Next up, Citadel Colors. So they're releasing a bunch of different paint sets.
Yep.
They're coming out. So the base paint set's going to have 15 of the more universally used, everything from Abaddon Black to Mephiston Red to Averland Sunset to even getting Lead Belcher and Balthazar Gold in there too. So you get a couple metallics.
Good starting point.
Definitely. Layer paint set, 15 of the most widely used layer paints. So again, you get your Altdorf Blue, your Runefang Steel, your Skarsnik Green, all those things that you need to go to the next level, right?
Yep.
Contrast paint set coming out as well. This one is 9 contrast paints. Now let's see here. Well, I definitely use Black Legion a lot, Skeleton Horde a lot, Snakebite Leather a lot, Blood Angels Red, Gilliman Flesh. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in there.
All the typical stuff is here.
And then they'll just have the shade paint set as well. What we get here is 9, again, of the large pots.
Yep.
And they said more of the used things. I don't know if Soul Blight Gray is used as much, but definitely Reikland Flesh Shade.
Yeah.
The Nuln Oil, your Agrax, Drakenhof, Seraphim Sepia. So yeah, it's just a good array of paints. If you're running low on a bunch of different shades and you want to get some, pick them all up at once. Otherwise, this is good for newer hobbyists.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely good for newer hobbyists.
Yep. From Black Library, we're getting the Rogel Dorn German edition. Yay.
Interesting enough, Rogel Dorn in German is Rogel Dorn.
So out on Audible, our audiobook is Stormcaller.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, those of you that like the old Sons of Rust, Grey Wolves, Space Wolves, Grey Wolves.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, Space Wolves, there is an Audible book for you.
Yeah, specifically focusing on the Rune Priest Njal Stormcaller. Yeah. Interesting thing on the website recently, the original Njal model is gone.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if they took off the Terminator one yet, but I think in the app, the Terminator one is the only one that's available, and I think they pulled both models.
Uh-oh.
So, rutro raggy.
What does that mean to you? It means new model coming.
Let's hope so.
So on Warhammer Plus, we're going to get Black Talon Episode 3. Looking forward to that.
For sure.
A Seraphon Battle Report, and then some miscellaneous books added. And then, of course, Warhammer Fest starts on the 29th, goes through the 1st. They put a little schedule in here of what's going to happen, being Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Looks like there's going to be some fun. They got a 40K tournament going on. They have an AOS. Actually, they have a preview show on Saturday. And then more AOS previews on Sunday, which is strange. Then also on Sunday, you're going to see some Horus Heresy and Warhammer the Old World previews.
Oh, man.
So that's going to generate a little consternation.
All those people who burned their entire armies after Age of Sigmar came out.
Yeah.
You've just been patient.
Whoopsie. So, and then, of course, it stretches into Monday where you have round 9 of the Warhammer 40K tournament.
Jesus.
So, no AOS games, it looks like, being streamed. So, poop on them. But, yeah, that's all going to be on Twitch TV Warhammer. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun, being Fest weekend. It's going to be interesting. I think that could explain why there's only 2 releases plus, 3 if you count the head, and then just paint sets.
Yeah, I feel like with the previews coming up, we're going to get quite a bit of things.
I think it's going to be a big, big weekend with 3 different preview shows. Yeah.
I mean, it's Warhammer Fest, right? So.
Yeah, it's where they're going to talk about the cool stuff.
Talk about the Warhammer stuff, right?
Yeah. So, again, the Saturday preview is, of course, it's going to kick off with 40K. Then a couple hours later, they're going to go into Warcry, Underworlds, and Middle-earth. On Sunday, you're going to have the AOS previews, as well as the Horus Heresy and Old World previews. And then on Monday, you're going to get Kill Team previews. So splitting the previews all up across 3 days, that's going to tick a lot of people off.
What I'm hoping it means is that there's that much content in each one of the previews. Because Warhammer Fest it's Warhammer Fest. It's huge. So.
Yeah. Or at least they can go a little deeper into each release. That's what we got going forward.
And now for something completely different.
All right, we've got some Path to Glories to go over. Which one do you want to do first?
Well, let's go with the Bone Daddies.
Okay, Bone Daddies is going to be short and sweet because the Path to Glory is very minimal. The changes to this book are phenomenally huge.
Yes.
And it is beyond the scope of this show to cover the Bone Daddies and how they play in match play. Go to Warhammer Weekly for that. Yeah. Go anywhere, Rob, AOS Coach, wherever you want to go to get your hardcore info, go there because this book has fundamentally changed. The OCR Bone Reapers used to not get command points, and they couldn't play the command point game at all, which meant they couldn't do all-out attack, all-out defense, rally, all those things that are command point dependent. Yep. Now they do command points exclusively, just like everyone else. RDPs are gone. They're dead. They're out of there. So what they are replaced with in this book is basically an army-wide special rule that says basically your relentless discipline is replaced by command points. You receive 1 extra command point. And this is only for your starting command points. So at the very beginning of the game, if you have 3 or more friendly OCR Bone Reaper units on the battlefield, you get 1 extra command point.
Yep.
If you have 5 or more, you get 2 extra command points. And if you have 7 or more, you get 3 extra command points. All of these are cumulative. So if you have 7 OCR Bone Reaper units out on the board, bam, you're getting 6 extra command points. And that's the end of your bonuses. The rest of the OCR Bone Reaper book is a whole bunch of commands, and all of the War Scrolls are still, just about every single one of them has a command ability.
Oh, yeah.
So managing your command points is going to be the thing that makes average players really bad in this book, and really good players that can manage that pool effectively, really, really good. This is a super strong book. It has a ton of changes. Just as the highlights, not going to go through each and every individual thing, but Nagash is very, very good. Arkan the Black, go figure, is very, very good, but Catacross,
he's back in the game,
is now holy hand grenades good.
Yeah.
And cheap. He comes in at, what did you say, 440?
440.
Yeah.
For 20 wounds on a 3-up save. Yeah, he's got a 4-inch move, but now he doesn't lose dudes as he loses wounds.
Right.
He keeps all of those abilities from all of them as you go. So you, everyone who magnetized their models, they stay on now.
Yeah, you can just build it now. I'm so glad I didn't build mine.
Right. He fights better when he fights heroes.
Yep.
Right. He throws commands anywhere on the field once per turn. So he's just
he is a very viable alternative now to Nagash and Arkan.
Yeah, super good buff piece that you're going to want to take. And real quick, what you mentioned earlier, Bill, there's like a bunch of like universal commands for the OBR.
Yep.
So it's not just what's on your War Scroll now. You have access to a ton of them, like Unceasing Advance or whatever.
Yes.
You have Reknit Construct. Yeah.
I died when I heard AOS Coach say Reknit, and I'm like, oh my God, I started something. I'm an idiot.
But you did it. You have your 6, what are they? Not legions, right?
They're OCR commands.
Oh, no, you have the OCR commands, but then you have
there are 6. You still have Praetorians, Petrifex Elite, Staliarch Lords, Ivory Host, Null Myriad Crematoriums, and they still do what you expect them to do. Depending on your play style, you're going to pick a faction, and you're going to lean into it.
Yep.
Don't try to be an all-comers. Well, I mean, don't try to be an all things army.
Yeah, and so what they did with the other ones, they boiled it down to you get 1 ability for whatever your little legion is. You know, Crematoriums still do mortals when they explode, and Staliarch Lords are still on horses. Yes. You know, so it's very themey. Some niche things there. So just really just a way to enhance an already super good army in this army. And the reason why we don't really want to touch on too much stuff, the skill floor is already high.
Yes.
Right? Looking at it, knowing how you have to manage your resources, knowing how you need to set up, like the choices you have are ridiculous right now. And knowing how to have your overlapping commands and when to use them, when not to use them. Yeah, it's a very complex army.
Yeah, it really is. Don't ever have a new person at the store ask you that question of, well, what should I play? And don't suggest OCR Bone Reapers as their first army. That would be very nasty. They still have the OCR Bone Reaper #1 ability is, hey, no battle shock. Not now, not ever. Nadirite weapons have been moved off of all the War Scrolls and into a battle trait for the army. However, you also lost the ability to buff that Nadirite weapons on some of the War Scrolls. That's okay. I mean, what you lose in this book, you gain in other ways.
Correct.
And again, high skill floor. When we get to the path to glory, don't be disappointed because it's literally a couple of pages and it's not anything to write home about.
No.
You're going to do your winning on the table.
Yeah.
You're not going to need to be buffed up by some crazy strong path to glory. So the basic rule in path to glory for the Osiark Bone Reapers, their ability is Reapers of the Tithe. Each time an enemy unit is destroyed by an attack made with a melee weapon, so more tech crawlers, go home, by a friendly Osiark Bone Reapers unit, you can say that their bones will be claimed for the tithe. If you do so, roll a number of dice equal to the wounds characteristic of the destroyed unit. So for mooks, it's going to be lousy. For heroes, it's going to be better.
Yep.
Add 2 to each roll if that enemy unit was destroyed within 6 inches of any friendly Gothazar Harvester units. Very nice.
Yep.
For each 4 up, you're going to get a tithe point. Okay, so you're reaping the tithe. You're reaping the bones. Life is good. What can you do with those bones, Bill? What can you do with tithe?
I wonder.
Well, in the aftermath sequence, you can use bones from your bone tithe instead of spending glory points to meet the costs of the following: upgrading your stronghold, adding barracks to your stronghold, adding a new unit to your order of battle, or reinforcing a unit on your order of battle. Okay, awesome. In such cases, 1 tithe point is equivalent to 1 glory point, and you can spend any combination of tithe and glory to meet the cost of whatever it is you want to do. Then at the end of the aftermath sequence, any bone tithe that you have left over is reset to 0. So use those first. Obviously, use those first.
Hey, guess what? That's it.
Yeah, that's the sum total. Now, they do have quests.
Yeah. Quest, veteran abilities, but literally it's just a resource gathering effect. It's not like you do something super fun with them, like
You're not
create this
tracking
interesting construct.
mushrooms. And, you know.
Quests, blood for bone. We could talk to them about,
I know. Some of their phrasing is questionable at best.
bone and blood, blood for bone. You run out of bone if you don't use it all. I mean, I don't know. So anyway,
that's why I'm going back to Sylvaneth. I want wood.
Oh man, that's all about seasons. So,
Yes,
hope it's not too cold. When you complete this blood for bone at the end of the Path to Glory battle, if you win a major victory and your tithe point total is 10 or more, so you got to get murdering done.
Yes.
When you complete this quest in the next Path to Glory battle, you fight against an opponent. At the start of your hero phase, you can return 1 slain model to each friendly Osiark Bone Reapers unit on the battlefield with a wounds characteristic of 3 or less. It's not bad.
Nope, not at all.
Refined Doctrine. End of the Path to Glory battle. When you win a major victory and your bone tithe is 10 or more, do you see a pattern? When you complete this quest in the next Path to Glory battle, you fight against an opponent who's doing Path to Glory. Pick 1 Osiark command from page 75. If you do so, during that Path to Glory battle, any friendly Osiark Bone Reaper units on the battlefield can receive that command without the command being issued and without a command point being spent.
Awesome. That part about without a command being issued is huge.
Yeah, so you get to double down commands.
Yes, and it frees up one of your heroes to do something else.
Yes, definitely. Wow, that's absolutely ridiculous. Sorry. Based on how I read it, you can use them any number of times, and that particular one can be used any number of times without it issuing a command and without receiving a command or a command point being spent.
Right. Since the overall OBR rule is you can do the same command multiple times.
Yeah.
So,
dear God.
Could be strong.
That's really strong. Quash the Rebels. At the end of each Path to Glory battle, add 1 quest point to the progress section of your quest log if you want a minor victory, and add 3 if you want a major. Once you gain 6 or more, you can do Defend the Nexus, which is a darn good thing. So if you complete that, hopefully you have a friend who's going to play it with you.
Yeah.
If you successfully defend the Nexus and you earn a major victory, you get 10 glory just for doing it.
Just for doing it.
Just for doing it.
Win a game.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's that's a huge swing. And then you also get to do 2 exploration rolls.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice.
Oh, that's it, right? Bountiful Tithe, the end of the Path to Glory battle. You complete this quest if you want a major victory and there are at least 3 friendly Osiark Bone Reaper units on the battlefield at the end of the battle. When you complete this quest, increase your tithe points by 1 for each friendly OCR Bone Reapers unit on the battlefield at the end of the battle.
That can be abused.
Yeah.
That's an early campaign way to get tithe points.
Yep.
Super cheap.
Super cheap. That way you can start, building your bone strongholds or making more bone boys. Do you want to do the veteran abilities? Do you want me to do it?
I'll run through it.
Okay.
What the hell? Change it up. Okay, so veteran abilities for the OBR. Again, these are pretty much designed to go for certain units. The first one is Immortal Legionaries. Anybody can get it. This unit can use this veteran ability once per battle at the start of the combat phase. Till the end of that phase, it has a ward at 5 up instead of 6 up for the Deathless Warriors battle trait, which is basically their death ward. So that's nice. It can go on anybody.
Yep.
Peerless Warriors, again, goes on anyone. This unit can use a veteran ability once per battle at the start of the combat phase. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to the attacks characteristics of this unit's melee weapons. That can be bonkers in the wrong hands.
Correct.
Or, in this case, the right hands.
Maybe the left one. I don't know. There's a lot of...
It really could be either.
They collect a lot of hands.
Yes. Okay, and the last all-purpose is Hatred of the Living. So that ability moved from a standard ability in OBR to a veteran ability in Path to Glory. So the unit can use the veteran ability once per battle at the start of the combat phase. Till the end of that phase, add 1 to hit and wound rolls for attacks made with this unit's melee weapons unless the target has the death keyword. It is literally Hatred of the Living, just moved from the army-wide special rule to a veteran ability in Path to Glory.
Yep.
So a lot of people were lamenting Hatred of the Living went away, but it does sort of make its appearance in Path to Glory. The next 3 are specific unit types only. So Grim Efficiency is for Gothrazar Harvesters only, and this unit can use the veteran ability once per battle at the start of any phase. Until the end of that phase, add 2 to rolls made for the unit's Bone Harvest ability. So when you look at Gothrazar Harvesters, they are the ones that
gather the bones.
And basically what it is depending on the wounds characteristic of the slain model, you heal this unit, and you also are going to get bone tithe for that.
Yep.
Very nice. Bludgeoning Goliaths is for Immortus Guard and Necropolis Stalkers only. Unit can use the veteran ability once per battle at the start of the combat phase. Until the end of that phase, improve the rend characteristics of this unit's melee weapons by 1. Harvesters and the Guard and Stalkers are going to be your hammer units. This is something to very carefully apply to those units because that's super good and super strong. And then something for you Mortek Crawler fans out there. For those of you that just have to have a shooting attack. Okay, which, by the way, these guys don't do much of. You have the Bloodthirsty Ballistari. Mortek Crawlers only. This unit can use veteran ability once per battle at the start of shooting phase. Until the end of that phase, if an unmodified hit roll for an attack made by this unit's Dread Catapult is a 6, this attack scores D3 plus 1 hits instead of 1. Make a wound and save roll for each one. So this could get stupid fast.
Oh, yeah.
This could remove entire units of squigs, entire units of, you name the mook.
Yeah.
It can devastate. So you want to do the territories, please?
Sure thing.
All righty then.
Territories. Don't get too excited. So 6162 Ancient Battle Site. Increase your monster limit and your war machine limit by 1. If you get reaped for the tithe, you increase it by 2.
Yay, that's an upgrade.
Woo! Yeah, that's the upgrade for 10 GP.
Yep.
6364 Shaishian Realm Gate. You can never have more than 1 territory of this type.
This is so good.
Pick 1 endless spell that can only be summoned by OCR Bone Reapers Wizards. Add it to your vault. Upgrade for 10 GP. Surge of Amethyst Energy. Once per battle, a friendly OCR Bone Reaper can automatically cast the spell. Do not roll the 2d6, and it cannot be unbound.
So, basically, your first game in your Path to Glory campaign, you take the quest to get more bone tithe. You get 10, which triggers all of the other cool abilities, and then you get this.
Yeah.
You try real hard, because you're going to get 2 rolls. You try real hard to get that territory.
Real hard.
Real hard.
Last one, 6566 Necropolis Foundations. You can never have more than 1 territory of this type and has no effect until upgraded. 15 GP makes it the ossified fortress. Each time you win a major victory in a Path to Glory battle, you receive 1 extra glory point in step 1 of the aftermath sequence for each friendly OCR Bone Reapers unit that survived the battle. So you're very tanky.
Yep.
You can get there. You just got to work up the GP to get there. So that's going to be your win more mechanic. The Shayishian Realm Gate is bonkers.
Yeah, it can be It can be a endless spell generating machine.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. So the Bone Reapers do not have the whole upgrade mechanic where you like put this guy on a mount and then this guy goes on a bigger mount.
Yeah, they don't have that sort of pathway.
So what they gave you instead was an OCR Bone Reapers name generator. They had an extra page, and so they gave you a page. So you can get names such as Azrak Skypos or Sylark Kazaa. And then you can also roll for your necropolises.
Yeah.
Just to see what kind of name you want. It's like Obstini or More Taxes. Ooh, that doesn't sound very fun, but sounds like death,
more
right?
Taxes. More taxes.
The only thing certain in this book is death and more taxes.
Yes, and
So-
bone tithes. So.
Yeah, that's OBR.
Yeah, I mean, literally, we're not going to cover, because to try to cover the book and the changes from before would be an entire episode's worth of competitive play stuff. I mean, literally everything changed for OBR, and it's a very skill heavy army. You have to know when to pop their abilities. It's kind of like playing Caratron Overlords. You have to know when to do the certain things, and once you've got that down, you will win with these guys.
Yeah, it's not as taxing as like Fire Slayers, where it's like your ability to navigate and properly employ once per game abilities. Like these ones, you still get more command points, but it's could be very tempting to dump your command points all at once, and then you are put out. So
Yeah, and I said KO, I meant Fire Slayers.
oh yeah, so they're dwarves. God,
Yeah. They're all short.
one's
angry.
steamy, one's fiery, but who cares?
Yeah, just short, angry men.
Yeah.
All right, so with our death double header, we now go into the Soul Blight Grave Lords. This is more standard. This book is a revamp of how Soul Blight is put together, but not so much so that you have to learn an entire new way of playing them.
Yeah.
So again, they have the cursed bloodlines. We all know them. Legion of Blood, Legion of Night, Virkos, Castellai, and Avangori. They have their very defined roles. If you like monsters, you're Avangori. If you like murdering your opponents, like you're Legion of Blood. So they maintain the Endless Legion rule, which is basically Soulblight Grave Lords, summonable units. When they've been destroyed, you can make a roll, and they just might come back at half.
Yeah, the only big change from the last book is they put in summonable heroes because, and we looked through it very carefully.
Yes.
Skeleton heroes, right? So you're the guy from Cursed City or your White King. Those ones can come back, right? Because they are summonable units. So you, I guess, can sometimes pull a tech piece back out, but it's not.
Your vampires are not summonable.
They are not.
No.
So when you read that, don't get really excited thinking, oh my God, I can bring my hero back.
Yeah.
It's more so just so you can constantly throw death rattle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally recycling skeletons and zombies.
Yeah.
So it's a really good mechanic for your mooks. Unless you lean heavily into the wolf thing, chances are you're going to have skellies and zombies, even with lots of wolves.
Yeah, there's like what's his name? The guy I can't remember from Cursed City. The
Kritza?
No, not Kritza. The skeleton guy, the little watch commander guy that's undead.
Oh yes,
he specifically benefits Virkos death rattle units.
Yeah.
So he's I don't know if he's gonna be good, but that's what it is. Hallgrim, Watch Captain Hallgrim.
Yeah, Watch Captain Hallgrim.
Specifically benefits Virkos death rattle. So there's some play there. I know we talked about OBR. Big difference here is that so OBR was a very unified book. This still maintains, when we talked about the Cursed Legions, I want to bring that up then, but each one, or the Cursed Bloodlines, each one has their own individual identity.
Yes.
With their own command traits and their own relics, right, or artifacts. You do have universal lores, though,
Yes.
For your either your death mage, which is like your necromancer, and then Nagash, and then you have your stuff for the
Vampires.
Yep.
So Soulblight also maintains the Unquiet Dead, which is basically after territories are determined, you can pick up to 2 points in your territory and 2 points anywhere outside your territory to be grave sites.
Yep.
And those are your summoning locuses. That's where your summonable characters go. Graveyards for Night Haunt, stuff like that.
Your ambushing mechanics.
Yes.
Yeah.
And be careful and KG where you put grave sites because that can swing a game.
Yeah.
Having stuff show up where you need it, when you need it, is very, very good. And then, of course, Deathly Invocation stays in your hero phase. Pick up to 3 friendly Soulblight Gravelord summonable units, wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Soulblight Gravelord's hero. And you can either heal up to 3 wounds all allocated to that unit, or if no wounds have been allocated, blah, 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 bring back models until you reach 3, yada, yada, yada. Add 1 to the number of slain models that are returned to that unit if it is wholly within 12 inches of a gravesite. So be within 12 inches of a gravesite.
And that's a huge footprint.
Yes.
That's a 12-inch radius.
Yes, you
right?
have 4 of them.
Yeah.
Think about the size of the table now.
Yeah.
You can cover the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
So also Deathless Minions. Boom. Death warded to 6. 6 up ward. You got Lord of the Vampires. We're not going to go through each individual legion. They, like Josh said, they are very tailored to how you want to play Soulblight. If you want to be monsters, you're Avangori. If you want to be whatever you want to be, if you want to be super fast cavalry type guys, you're going to go Castelai. I think it's Castelai, right?
Yeah, Castelai.
Yeah, Castelai.
If you like wolves and you like all the really awesome Virkos models that have come out, including Ivia Volga, you're playing Virkos.
Yeah, a lot of the new stuff coming out is strictly for Virkos. It's a great way to get into it and have some fun if you've got the Curse City stuff.
Side note, Belladama Volga is still ridiculous. Oh my God, I love her.
Yep.
She is still throwing dire wolves everywhere.
Yeah.
And one other thing is you get a bunch of different heroic actions now,
Yes.
depending on your bloodline,
Yep.
right? Well, Avangori, they don't get heroic actions. They get monstrous rampages.
Monstrous rampages. So your zombie dragons and terror guys go and just murder stuff.
Yeah, that's there's a wombo combo in there. Look at it.
Yes.
Being able to immediately fight after a unit's been slain.
Oh, there's so many things you can set up with that. And I'm sorry, but they should not have called that Avangori. They should have called it Ben Johnson Gory or something like that, because that was for him.
Ben Jongori.
Yeah, exactly.
So they look really fun.
Yep.
I'll play Virkos all day. I'm saying that right now.
Yeah, I like Virkos, but I also like the Avangori. I like that monster mash. Yeah.
Oh, I totally understand. I just like your Russian grandmother and your Russian cousin with Ivia Volga. Being able to summon all these wolves and it's just cool.
Yeah, I love that wolf.
Cool. And the hats.
Yeah, the hats.
Best hats in the game.
Ever.
Right?
Yep.
Their path to glory, though. As much as, Soulblight, it still pretty much does what it does.
Yes.
Their path to glory, it's okay. So, soul-blighted territories. So, yes, you are focused on territory.
And that's all there is to their path to glory is
Territory.
taking and infecting territory and then having it undermined by the other guy.
Yep. You can pick from the Soulblight Gravelord faction territories on page 71 when you make an exploration roll. These territories represent pockets of civilization that already subsist under the oppression and rule of the cursed bloodlines, and so they work differently to other territories. Firstly, you do not have to spend any glory points to control them. You can do so automatically.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Oh, that's bull.
Secondly, the territories cannot be upgraded. They just do what they do.
Right.
Well, then you get to influence territories, right? In addition to discovering soul-blighted territories, you can influence territories you control.
Nice.
In order to influence a territory, you must complete the Propagate the Curse quest. In addition, if you fight a Path to Glory battle using an object lesson battle plan, the result may allow you to influence a territory or allow your opponent to undermine your influence over a territory. Influence. If you choose to influence a territory at the end step of the Aftermath sequence, pick one territory you control. Remove the territory you picked from your roster and place it with its influenced form from the Soulblight Gravelord's faction table, page 71. Undermine influence. If your opponent is allowed to undermine your influence over territory in step 6 of the aftermath sequence, you're not allowed to make an exploration roll. Instead, your opponent can pick one influence test territory on your roster. If they do so, you must remove the territory from your roster and place it with the territory that corresponds to its original form.
Yeah.
So they just give this extra little thing that you can tack onto it. It can be taken away. There's some interplay there, so if you're in a Path to Glory campaign and someone's playing Soul Blight, you're probably, like, when you play them, you're probably just trying to pick at them to take away their influence, right? The additional stuff, summonable units. So you don't add summonable units to your army roster.
No, they don't go on your roster.
Not at all. But you do, based off your heroes, get a certain number of summonable units. So if you bring a Mortark, you get 3 summonable units.
Yep.
If you bring a vampire character, you get 2. If you bring any other character, you get 1.
Yes.
So Bill and I had to look this up beforehand. It's limited by the number of points you can take, right? So even though you can bring a bunch of summonable units that aren't on your roster, you still are playing a 1,000 point game.
Right.
You don't get to play 1,000 points plus, here's 180 zombies or something.
Sure.
So
yeah, and keep in mind that you cannot add anything to your Path to Glory roster that is that's over half of your initial points.
Correct.
So if you start at Path to Glory at 750, you're not bringing Nagash.
Yeah.
You're not bringing
Manfred
or something like that.
Yeah.
A big Mortark, because that's over half your points.
Yep.
So you have to bring a smaller hero and then just bring in summonable units to match the points, or regular units. Yeah. So just be careful how you build your roster and don't try to get away with something you shouldn't be getting away with.
Yeah. And so event organizers out there, make sure you keep an eye on that. People might try and game the summonable units part of it, right?
Yes.
I think the reason why it really gets away with this says when you pick your army for a battle, you can include this much. So it's not just, at the start of the battle, you add 3 summonable units to your army list, right? So that wording is key. It has to happen before you actually put them on the table.
Right. It makes Soul Blight really good for someone just getting into the game.
Yeah.
Because, if last week I bought a box of zombies, I can get that built up and play them right away. But if later on I decide to go skeletons, I'm not really out that investment.
No.
I can still use what I have and grow into new stuff.
Correct.
So very handy.
I think so too. And so I'm just going to jump real quick to the territories, since that's a main focus there.
Yep.
And then we'll look at their other stuff. So when you make this exploration roll, you've got these options here. Now, the original form is found in the core rulebook.
Yep.
So it'll correspond to something here, and it's in the parenthetical. So 61 to 62 gets you the Bleak Expanse, the original being Old Keep.
Yeah.
Add 3 to the number of summonable units you can include in your army.
Oh my God.
Spicy, right?
Oh my God.
63 is Outpost of Undeath, which is the Ancient Rose. Pick an allied faction. You can add up to 3 allied units from that faction to your roster, even if this would exceed your allied units limit.
Okay. That sounds broken overall. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a little bit. 64, Outpost Living. Large settlement is the original.
Yeah.
You receive 3 extra glory points in step 1 of the aftermath sequence.
Okay. Wow.
I'll take that one.
Sure will.
65 to 66 is Cursed Citadel, previously Ruins of Myth. That's the original.
Yep.
You can never have more than 1 territory of this type. Add 1 to the number of territories your stronghold can control.
Jesus.
The number of barracks it can have, and the number of outposts it can establish.
That's just sick.
Yeah. So you probably want the Cursed Citadel, I'm just going to say.
I'm just saying, if you look at how the Soulblight Gravelords Path to Glory works, they are really a mid-campaign, late-campaign powerhouse. At the beginning, they're going to be, you got nothing.
Yeah.
You got really nothing to do. Once you start that snowball rolling downhill, forget it. You're starting an avalanche.
Oh, yeah. Once you can actually start to afford your more Tarks, or if you can afford more vampire heroes. So, like if I was playing Virkos, right? Like, I just start lining up Virkos heroes, right, all the way down. So I probably start with Belladama.
Yeah.
Then probably Ivia, then Radikar the Beast, then even Kritza.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Lady
everybody
Audica's
adds
got play.
units.
Like, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what they do. I mean, that's their shtick.
Yes.
Right? Is you get these special territories. Again, it's more, like you said, late campaign.
Yep. Sure is. They have some quests. They are kind of, again, focused back in on this. What do you think? So the very first quest they have is Champions of Undeath. Pick one Vampire Lord or White King that does not have a mount on your order of battle. At the end of each Path to Glory battle, add one quest point to the progress section of your quest log for each enemy unit that was destroyed by an attack made by that unit. Once you gain 3 or more quest points, you complete the quest. When you complete the quest, you can pick an eligible heroic upgrade for that Vampire Lord or White King for a reduced amount of renown points. Now, we're not going to go over that table right this second, but just be it known, this is a good quest to do. When you're starting out, you're probably going to take a Vampire Lord on foot or a White King on foot, and who knows, maybe even make it your general. I'm just saying you can do that. And then now here is your much cheaper upgrade mechanic for that one.
Yep.
Next quest is the Revenant Legions, and this is at the end of a Path to Glory battle. You complete this quest if you won a major victory. So pretty simple, straightforward. When you complete this quest in the next Path to Glory, you fight against an opponent using a Path to Glory army. Before deployment, you can give each friendly Death Rattle Skeletons or Deadwalker Zombies one veteran ability that can only be used in that battle. That is bonkers good.
Yeah, and the reason they have to have that is because you can't keep summonable units and upgrade them and give them veteran abilities. So
yeah,
if you want to see if your zombies can do a veteran type thing, gotta do that quest.
Here's your quest. The next quest is Propagate the Curse. At the end of each Path to Glory battle, add one quest point to the progress section of your quest log for each Soulblight Gravelord hero on the battlefield. You're going to gain some points quickly. Mm-hmm. Once you've gained 6 or more quest points, so probably 2 games, probably not just one, you can fight Path to Glory battles using an object lesson battle plan. If you win a major or minor victory when using the battle plan, you complete the quest. The rewards are in the actual quest itself. And if the Soulblight Gravelord player wins this battle, they complete and you can just automatically influence a territory. Flat out, period. Influence a territory. Okay.
Yep.
If the defender wins, this sucks. They can undermine the Soulblight Gravelord's player's influence over 2 of their territories.
Holy crap.
So if you jump into this battle plan, don't lose.
That's also incentive for another Path to Glory player to actually play that one.
Yes.
Because they will try and strip you of your influence.
They will knock you down.
Yeah.
Hard. And then the last quest is Mass Graves. At the end of a Path to Glory battle, you complete this quest if you won a major victory and the model that was picked to be your general was not slain. When you complete the quest, in the next Path to Glory battle, you fight against an opponent using a Path to Glory army. At the end of your movement phase, you can summon one Deadwalker zombie or Death Rattle skeleton unit and add it to your army.
There you go.
It says at the end of each phase. At the end of each of your movement phases, that's 5 new units.
Yeah.
In an average game.
Yep.
Wow. They got to be set up within 12 inches, blah, 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 blah. Units set up this way cannot attempt to charge or make pile-in move in the same turn. Oh, big deal. You're putting them on objectives anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That one's a huge quest. That is a bonkers quest.
It really is.
All right. So I'll do the first couple of veteran abilities and you take over.
Sounds good.
Soulblight Gravelord veteran abilities. First one up is Ruinous Charge. Go figure. Blood Knights only.
What?
Yeah, not Black Knights. Blood Knights only.
Okay.
Okay, this unit can use a veteran ability once per battle when it uses a Riders of Ruin ability. Instead of rolling to determine whether an enemy unit suffers mortal wounds, that enemy unit automatically suffers 3 mortal wounds. So let's remove a dice roll from the game. Yay. Woo. All right. Next one up is Eager for Bloodshed. This is Vargeists only. This unit can use veteran ability once per battle when it's set up on the battlefield after circling high above as a reserve unit.
Okay.
So you got to do both of those things. Have Vargeists and have them in reserve. This unit can be set up more than D6 inches away from all enemy units instead of more than 9 inches. D6, you could roll a 1.
Yeah.
Okay? That is stupid. I love it. Oh my God, that's so good. The Corpse Master Seneschal is the next one, and that's for the Corpse Cart only. Once per battle, one friendly summonable unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit can receive a command without the command being issued and without a command point being spent. Shades of OBR.
Yeah.
So that is really, really good. If you have a Corpse Cart out there, it basically, once per battle, becomes a command machine.
Yep.
So very nice. And you can do the last three.
Okay. Because they're the best three.
I got the loser ones.
Horrors of the Deep Graves. Zombie, Dragon, and Terrorgeist only. Add 2 to the wound characteristic of this unit.
Okay, wait a minute. Either one?
Either one.
Oh, Avangori, here I come.
Yeah. He's like, veteran ability, they get 2 extra wounds.
Yeah.
That's it. Does not say it can't be done with a Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon, by the way. So your Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon can get 2 extra ones.
This book is broken.
Busted. Warriors of the Elder Ages.
Oh, yeah.
Death Rattle only. This unit can use its veteran ability once per battle when it's picked to fight in the combat phase. When it does so, this unit is eligible to fight in the combat phase if it's within 6 inches of an enemy unit instead of 3, and it can move an extra 3 inches when it piles in. So that zombie 6-inch pile in, I don't need to charge you thing.
Yeah.
Death Rattle can do it too with that.
And there's another synergy here with that ability with the Avangori ability to strike if a unit gets wiped out.
Yeah.
So you could put this on a absolutely useless unit, use it to suck up charges to get that monster to fight more than once per turn.
Oh, yeah. This last one, March of 1,000 Corpses, Deadwalkers only. This unit can use its veteran ability once per battle at the end of the movement phase. You can return any number of slain models to this unit.
That's so stupid. You're sitting with 1 zombie left. Nope, here's 39 more. Oh, God. Can you imagine the look on somebody's face if you literally got like a unit of 40 zombies and you knocked it down to like, 5? Yeah. The rest are going to run away. Yeah, no. No, here they are back to full. God, that's so disheartening.
Isn't it just?
Oh.
Isn't it just? Oh, here's a little note here. They did do a Soulblight Gravelord's name generator too.
Yes, they did. I love that.
I guess, since they didn't put a whole bunch into the actual like Path to Glory mechanics, they're like, well, at least you can name them funny.
Yeah.
And they have like dynasty quirks as well. So
yes.
Let's see. Malachi von Morar with a dynastic quirk of a profound megalomaniac. The head of your dynasty maintains many mortal chattel cultists who worship them as a demigod of undeath.
I love that.
That's just randomly picked there. So yeah, there's little fun things you can do there.
It is, and it helps tweak that narrative game story mode. I love it.
Yeah,
love it.
It's funny.
Do the upgrades.
Upgrades. I was just say the core enhancement upgrades, heroic upgrades. Looks like if you complete that quest, it reduces the renown cost by 5 per.
Yep.
So Vampire Lord would go to 25 renown points instead of 30 to get a zombie dragon. Vampire Lord become a Vengo Lord.
Yep.
For 15 with the reduction, and the White King can get a horse for 10 with the reduction. So
I like the what's his name, the king getting a horse for 10 points, but I mean just the idea of a zombie or a what's his name going to a Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon is just huge.
Yeah.
I mean that is, yes, it's 25 points, but damn, the difference in the power of that War Scroll it's worth it.
Yep. And just like OBR, that's it.
Yeah, honestly, it was, we wrapped these two together because under an hour we did both books, both Path to Glories.
Yep.
They're very simplistic, mostly because what you can do with these armies on the table is good enough.
Yeah.
You're not going to be hurting for renown. You're not going to be hurting for glory after a game because these guys are going to win games for you just based on the strength of the book. So...
yeah, I mean, it's true. And then having summonable units not be part of your War Scroll, your Order of Battle, you just throw them into the wood chipper.
It's a huge bonus.
You just, go ahead, take as many zombies as you want. I don't need to roll for them afterwards.
Right.
Like, they're literally a throwaway unit. It's very Hero Hammer.
Yep.
Right? When you're looking at Soulblight, like, almost exclusively Hero Hammer.
And literally, don't get caught in that trap of not having enough heroes to field an army.
Yeah.
You can quite literally screw yourself over by not having the right mix of heroes to be able to bring in the summonable units.
Yeah.
And that will hamper you. I mean, obviously you're not going to have a game if you don't have the summonable units because you are based on recycling those units as the game goes.
And don't forget, it gives you flexibility because it says summonable units. Doesn't say it has to be the same one every time.
Right.
So, this time, hey, I'm breaking out the Virko, so I'm bringing just an obscene amount of direwolves, right?
Yeah.
Or, hey, I painted up, another 40 skellies. I might as well throw them on the board, see what they do.
And you can flex into that for capping an objective.
Yep.
And the next turn you might flex into more wolves or something. Yeah, you have so much freedom of action with this book. And also, the OBR book, I'm going to rate that book lower simply because it's so hard to wrap your head around if you're new to the game.
Yep.
Or if you're a casual player who doesn't explore these combos all the time. So overall, I literally want to give the Soul Blight Grave Lords probably a minus. It's a very strong book depending on how you want to play it.
Yeah.
I don't mean depending on how you want to play it, but you can play it in so many different ways. Finding the combo that works for you is going to be fun. It's going to be exploring different types of mortal dead.
For me, I would actually, now that we've talked about it again, I'd probably rate it B+ for a new player because of the amount of plastic you need to paint for it.
Yes.
The summonable units, it's gonna be a ton, right?
Yes.
So just go Virkos and take a bunch of direwolves because that's gonna be a lot easier than painting 20 zombies over and over.
Yeah.
So
I hate to say it, but buy zombies.
Yeah.
Buy painted zombies.
Yeah.
The amount that you're gonna need, just do it.
Yeah, if someone's just got, they're dumping them out of buckets for you, just go get them because it's going to be so much easier. Yeah. That's what I think is the only I think it's a cost barrier to entry on that. But if you're slow growing a campaign at 600 points, and then, in 3-4 weeks, you guys go to 1,000, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have enough time to paint them up, but that one's just got a really hefty bill on it.
Yeah.
And then how'd you rate OBR?
OBR, I literally gave that book a B, maybe a B-, simply because for the newer player, casual, it's a very, very hard book to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
And the mechanics of that book are so subtle. And the units themselves are very, very strong. But when you look at what makes them strong, it's their command abilities.
Yeah.
And managing that pool of resources is going to be key to winning or losing games. And that, to me, is hard for new players to, it's hard to wrap your head around sometimes. When is the right time to use that ability?
Yep.
And when's the right time to just let things fall where they may? So
agreed.
I only rate that book lower because of that. It's not the fact that the book is not really good. It is. But it's hard to learn, hard to play. Well, good players are going to win big with OBR and Grave Lords, I believe.
I think so. I think OBR is going to be I'm going to say I want to see that on some top tables.
Yeah.
Just when they really get a handle on it, it's going to do a lot of really good work.
I want to see Brennan from Cubic Shenanigans. I want to see what he puts together.
Oh yeah.
And how he operates it cuz he's really good with OBR now and this is only going to make him better, I think. With that, I think we're done, right?
I think that's it. Again, 2 quick books. I'm hoping Seraphon's got a super fun Path to Glory. We will find out next week and talk to you about it in a few.
That book might be too strong. I don't know, man. They're good. God, they're so good.
Right. So I hope you enjoyed your doubleheader on death. Little blood, a little bone. Right? We swear this was not the Corn Slanesh combo.
No.
It was...
It's just the way they're writing them these days.
There's too much blood and too much bone. Though apparently you lose it in the aftermath sequence. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
it goes away.
But yeah, let us know what you think of the books. Again, a lot of combos here, a lot of complexity. I think that these are anyone who's been established in these armies from before are really going to enjoy how they play. Path to Glory is pretty simple, particularly if you're just like a win more type who plays OBR. And yeah, I just get to win more because of my bone tight stuff. So
Yipper.
But glad to see Catacross back in the mix.
Oh yeah.
Glad to be off death's door now.
God, yeah, you and me both. Oof. All right, we'll see you guys in After Dark.
See you then.
The music in the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com and is used under the Creative Commons license. The Rolling Bad podcast itself is protected under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. Information for this license can be found at creativecommons.org.